Shalom. Welcome back. So we're going to continue working through our readings of the prophets series. With this course, we are currently working through First Kings, and we're all the way on chapter 14. So this lesson will be dealing with verse 15a. It's a very long verse. And let's just see how the time goes. If there's enough time, we'll do 15b also. All right? Adonai Adonenu, ken yehi ratzon, ki hayom hazeh yichye ruchacha aleinu. Ta'azer na, Elohei Avraham, ve'Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov. Ta'azrei na et kol talmidai. Modi'im anachnu lefanecha, ki anachnu rotziim lirot et panecha. All right, so let's get started. We're going to start with verse 15a. And it says, Vehika Adonai et Yisrael, kaasher yadud hakaneh bamayim, venatash et Yisrael mei'al adamah, hatovah, hazot. And we're going to stop here because it's a very long verse. And let's pick that apart. Okay, the very first word, vehika. So the word here is a little bit difficult to recognize. I thought I wrote a noon in there. What happened to my noon? I totally did. It's gone. Maybe I clipped it out by accident. Well, okay, I'm having a licensing issue with my PowerPoint, so it won't let me edit what I did on the tablet. Dirk. All right, whatever. So there was a nice little noon here, and I did make it for you, promise, right there. So that's showing that the word is actually naka. But again, if you're just an auditory listener, no problem. You don't have to look at the screen and see what I'm talking about. So naka is a doubly weak verb. Nun, kaf, hey. Nacha, which is to smite. To smite. And we call it doubly weak because it has two letters from the root that sometimes like to disappear. The nun at the beginning and the hey at the end. So oftentimes you're just left with a kaf. In this case, we're fortunate, and the kaf and the hey have both remained. So we have, but you can see there's a strong dog, you can hear it. Instead of nacha, it's hik-a, hik-ka. There's double kaf there because the nun has assimilated from a theoretical ancient hin-ka became hik-ka. And I did have a nice little picture. I drove it, and it's just gone. I don't know what's going on. All right. So hik-ka, the hifil form of it, hik-ka Adonai, yod-he wav. So that means Hashem smote. But this is involved conversive. Da, 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 da. So Hashem will smite. Just making that bigger for anyone who's on a smaller device. And this is being recorded in UHD. So if you need a higher quality for a big device or something like a TV, and it's not there yet, just give YouTube a little bit of time to process that. You can see that later. So, hika. Maybe I'll move myself over there. That could be fun. But vehika Adonai, and Hashem will smite et Aleph Tav Yisrael, Israel. Vehika Adonai et Yisrael, and Hashem will smite. What will he smite? Yisrael. And we need the et there because Israel is a name. So the et is the definite direct object marker. It marks an object of a verb when the object is definite. And quick review, the three ways that something can be definite. One, it can be a name, right? And if you're looking at the legend, I have gray for names, right? Yisrael is clearly a name. Two, it could have the definite article on it. Ha, meaning the such and such. Definite article clearly makes it definite. And number three, it could be a noun with a suffix on it, meaning my such and such, your such and such. It's no longer a general such and such. It then becomes a definite such and such belonging to somebody. Right? Okay, and I should have colorized the asher as yellow. Oops, you missed things. Kaasher, according to how? Yadud. So the verb here, nud, is like to move to and fro, to waver, kind of, move around. So, yadud means he moves around to and fro, or he will move around to and fro. It's an imperfect. And the subject follows hakaneh. Hakaneh. The kaneh. Kuf, nun, hey. For those of you listening only, a kaneh is a reed. Reed. If you've ever seen reeds blowing in the wind, they kind of move around, right? The water can cause them to move around. And this, could have sworn I made it orange, but maybe I didn't. Sorry, should be orange. I'm having some issues right now where my presentation software isn't. It thinks I'm not registered, so it's okay with me on the tablet. It knows it's registered there, but not on the computer, and I just don't have the time to deal with it right now. So pretend that that's orange. My apologies that it's not orange. So the b, because it's a preposition, and then the is left over from definite article, the mayim. So b, a, mayim. If you're just listening, then you're not affected by my errors in the coloring. In the mayim, in the water. So vehika Adonai et Yisrael, then Hashem will smite Israel. Kaasher, according to how? Yadud. Waves around or moves to and fro. Hakaneh, the reed. Bamayim, in the water. Ve'natash et Yisrael. Now, natash means to tear out, to pull out. It can also have the idea of to drive out, right? But it's like pulling a weed. It's an agricultural term. Pulling a weed out of the ground is natash. Here's a mnemonic that just came to me. If any of you know the old cartoon that Rocky the squirrel or whatever, and it has Natasha and Bullwinkle. So just imagine Natasha's buried in the ground and Bullwinkle is pulling her out by her hair. He's grabbing Natasha's hair. What are you doing, you stupid moose? Pulling her out by her hair. Natasha is being natashed. Okay. Or maybe you got your guy, you got an ex-girlfriend named Natasha. Okay. You drove her out, drove her away. Okay, so natash means he pulled out or he drove away, right? But the vav, going in neon, if you're a visual learner, changes the aspect. Instead of perfect, he pulled out, and he shall pull out or he shall drive away. The natash, he, meaning Hashem, will drive out, will pull out, et Yisrael, again, definite because it's a name, mei'al. We'll just make this a bit bigger here. I've kind of colorized it nicely so you can see what's going on. So written above, if you're a visual learner, I have the word min, meaning from, and the nun has assimilated. Well, they tried to assimilate in the ayin. Ayin rejected it because you can't double it. And so instead of having the I that's in the original min, we lengthened it with another dot, making it a long vowel tseri, may. So may from upon adamah, the adamah. Now, adamah is flexible. It overlaps with the word eretz sometimes. So, from the land, hatovah, tet, vav, hey, if you're just listening. Pardon me, tet, vav, beit, hey, if you're just listening. So that's the adjective, the good one. Another adjective comes, hazot, the this one. So literally, adamah, the land or the ground, which makes sense again with the kind of the de-weeding. Adonai is de-weeding Israel, mei'al from upon adamah, the ground, like the earth, the dirt, hatovah, the good one, hazot, the this one. And if you're a visual learner, I've written some things up here to kind of help you more specifically see what's going on. Zoom out a little bit there. So the noun is adamah, and typically in biblical Hebrew, the adjectives follow the noun. And you can just keep stacking them up. You could say adamah, hatovah, hagedulah, hakedusha, hazot, right? The good, big, holy ground, this one, hazot. And this is a special kind of adjective we call a demonstrative adjective, zot. I've kind of written in dark gray if you're a visual learner. Demonstrative. Think of it like that. Anyway, so all the adjectives must agree with the nouns in definiteness, in gender, and in number. So these are all singular, right? They're all feminine, as I've demonstrated with kind of a little pink feminine thing with lines there. And they are all definite. They all have the red ha in front of them. The adamah, the tovah, the zot. Right? Any comments or questions? You guys doing okay? All right, so let's go over that again. Again, this is 1 Kings chapter 14, verse 15a. Vehika Adonai et Yisrael. Then Adonai will nacha, he will cause to nacha, cause to strike, or he will smite. He'll have a victory against Yisrael. Kaasher should be yellow, according to how? Yadud hakaneh. According to how the kaneh, kuf nun hey, the reed, yanud, moves to and fro, and it should be orange. I'm sorry for the bait. I really colorized all this pop, and I don't know what happened. But in the mayim, in the water, bamayim. Venatash et Yisrael, and he will pluck up Israel, mei'al, from upon adamah, hatovah, hazot, the land or the ground or the dirt, the tovah, the good one, hazot, the this one. So from this good land, something like that. Now we're 11 minutes in. I'm trying to figure. Let me see what to do here. Hold on. Okay, let's push through to 15b. 15b says, Asher natan laavoteihem vezeram mei'eiver. So excuse me, I should have read this. A colorization issue. It should have been vezeram. The verb is zara, ending in hey, and the hey went away, not the verb zaram. It's funny because it kind of works out similarly. Because anyway, I'll come to that later. mei'eiver lanahal. yaan asher asu et ashreihem mei'sim et Adonai. Okay. Asher natan. Who? Natan. He gave laavoteihem. So the lamed is two. Let me zoom in here a bit. Avot, that's ancestors, of them. So he gave to their ancestors. I'm talking about the land. Or maybe we should say which. Which? Asher natan laavoteihem. Which, meaning the land, natan, he gave to avot, ancestors of them. Vezeram. So this is a PL verb. I've tried to demonstrate that instead of having the dagesh inside of the resh, because that's not allowed, you can think of it, it came down, usually in the PL form, we would have a chirek here, just one dot. But now there's two dots, so you can think of that dot as being evicted from the resh, and it came down here. So that's why it's zeram. Zeram. So the mem should be yellow, I can't color right now. I'm having issue with my presentation software, so apologies. So mental note, make it yellow. So the verb is zara, zayin, resh, hey, which means to scatter. Okay? So zeram means he scattered them. But we have a vav conversive with that neon vav if you're a visual learner. Ve zeram, and he will scatter them. Okay. Meaning our ancestors. Mei'eiver lanahal. From, and again, this is min. Got some notes there to help that stick for those of you who are still figuring that out. Min, it tried to join the ayin. The noon tried to go inside. It's rejected. The ayins don't take a dagesh. So instead, that guy moved down next to the single dot that's a chirik, and the and it lengthens it to an a. So meaning from, e'aver, across from, lan, the nahal, the river. Yaan, because, or on account of, asher, that which, asu. So this is the verb, asa. The ayin seen hey, and the hey went away. We end up with oo at the end. They did. So that which they did, on account of that which they did, et ashrei hem. This is their asherim, their asherah poles, right? Their sacred trees or sacred stumps, sacred poles. What happened? Why did that change? Okay, that's okay. The asherim, we drop the mem. Ashrei, so the Asherah poles, drop the mem of hem, of them. Mei'eisim. So if you're just listening, it's mem, kaf, ayin, yod, samech, yod, mem. The root verb being ka'as, kaf, ayin, samech, which is to vex, to vex. And this is a hifil participle form we have here. And the hifil is indicated by the yod jammed before the third root letter. First root letter, kaf, right? Kaf. Second root letter, ayin. Third root letter, samech. And look who's jammed in there. If you're looking or listening before the C, samech, it's ay, it's a yod. And this, the mem tells us that it's a participle form. And then im is just plural. So, mach aisim. So they caused to vex. They vexed et Adonai. Yod he, waw he. Terrible. All right, let's read through again. Asher, with which natan, or which asher, meaning the land. Natan. Actually, let's go back to the first one. Let's get them both. It's one verse. It's just a big verse. Okay. So you try to translate along with me. I will go a few minutes longer on this lesson. We need to. It was either that or just expand it out, and I figured maybe I'll give you more. You can always slow it down by clicking the gearbox playback speed. 15a. Vehika Adonai. Then Adonai smote, or will smite et Yisrael. Kaasher, according to how? Yadud, hakaneh, the reed, yadud. He moves to and fro, bamayim, in the water. Venatash et Yisrael, and he will he will tear out Israel, mei'al, from upon adamah, hatovah, hazot, this good land. Or dirt, if you're thinking of like pulling a weed out. That's a nice kind of metaphor that's happening there. Asher, which, meaning W-H-I-C-H, not natan, he gave laavoteihem, to the ancestors of them. Vezeram, and he will zara, Zion Resh He, he will scatter. And again, I just noticed, this is another agricultural term. Like I mentioned Zerim before, like Zerim is a kind of rain even, right? So, and Zara, that's why initially I was like, is that the suffix or is that part of the verb? Okay. So Zara is to scatter, and it's used with scattering seeds, the way he's scattering seeds, right? So he's plucking up Israel, like agriculture, like a weed from the dirt, and going to scatter like seeds, right? It doesn't say like seeds, but the language in the Hebrew, it feels agricultural to me, at least. And I think it will to you too, if you understand these verbs, how they're used like that. Vezeram, and he will scatter them, should be yellow. Mei'eiver, from across, lanahal, to the river. Yaan, on account of asher, how Asu, they made et ashreihem, their asherahs, their asherah poles, or their asherah trees, their decorated trees for worship. Mei'eisim, they vexed, they caused vexation et Adonai, to Hashem. All right, I'm not going to reread again. We're at about 18 or 19 minutes, so I think this is good. We got another lesson coming up. If you're doing the live premieres with us, so happy to have you here. Hope you like the floating head. I will see you guys over there. Oh, by the way, special thanks to my patrons. I really appreciate you guys. If you're not a supporter of this channel and you like what we do here, please consider that I do this work out of love for you guys. I really want you to learn the Hebrew, but I also do need to feed my family, so I really appreciate anyone who likes to give. Shalom, shalom. See you in the next video.